If motorbikes are specialties of transportation mode, street vendors and shops are another aspect of Vietnamese cultural life and also a part of the sidewalk economy that foreigners and visitors are also surprised and sometimes shocked by its immense size, density and diversity. But very few people know when street vendors have been appeared in Vietnam. On the 17th century, when the Western merchants and missionaries arrived to this country, they called the ancient city Hanoi as marketplace because of the commercial activities everywhere in this area. Hanoi is not a political capital but also a big trade hub. Because the market was not opened every day of the week, only 1 or 2 times, the street vendors have been appeared as a supplement deliverers to the inhabitants of the city. Another explanation is that the street vendors are farmers. They sell the fruits or vegetables harvested from home directly to the townspeople with a cheap price and avoid the market fees. Whether stationary or mobile, street vendors often communicate to customers by sound or chants, and conduct banter with customers to attract attention and enhance sales. Hello dear friends of the channel Vietnam Facts and Figures. Today we introduce to you a trait of the Vietnam culture, street vendors. In the years 2020, Vietnam is a developing country at middle level with the GDP per capita of about $4,000 or a PPP of $8,600. Visitors and foreigners see everywhere the convenience shops, super or hypermarket, but see also the street vendors, which exists as a fact and a nostalgia of a time gone by. In old time, a street vendor is someone holding 2 big baskets, made of bamboo, carrying various types of goods such as fruits, flowers. Now the motorbikes replace them and the human sounds to communicate to customers also replaced by a loudspeaker operated by a small battery. The common traits are these people have not an easy life, a jobless man, a woman moving to the city with the hope to make a better living. And instead of selling their own goods, they process the food or sell groceries to passers-by. Some have to make enough money so that their children can go to school, some have to do that because their parents need medicines and special treatment from hospital, and there are many who are unable to find any other way to make a living in their town. These poor street vendors, on the one hand, get the sympathy of other fellow citizens for the concept, everybody must be living. But on the other hand, they have crossed the line, do prevent the transportation by occupying the street, sidewalk and even bridge. Other street vendors often ambush in front of the hotels or touristic sites where foreign tourists come and try by all means to sell something with fake quality and very high price. They quarrel, bicker and sometimes fight with each other. Advices to the foreign tourists are to keep well your wallet and passport and do not buy the cheap articles if you are not sure of the quality even if the price is very attractive. Some poor street vendor have amiable cries, just enough to communicate to their clients, but some other are real hoodlums with violent cries and gestures. They threaten the passers-by if they do not buy.
Anh mì nóng giòn đây cô bác ơi! Anh mì nóng giòn đặc ruột thơm ngon đây cô bác ơi!
Recently in Ho Chi Minh City, some street vendors occupying the sidewalk on the walking street in Nguyen Hue had trouble with some young who playing skateboard and made 2 people injured. A specialty of Vietnam street culture is lottery seller. You can see them almost everywhere in southern provinces, in the restaurants, cafe, sidewalk and even on the street regardless motorbikes or cars moving. If you like the calm, privacy or simply not a disturb, the only way is going to a closed restaurant or cafe shop where the glass doors can protect you. You can see the street vendors in other countries of the world, but the term of river vendors, it exists only in Vietnam. In the western provinces of the Mekong Delta, where the roads are not yet developed, the waterway is still popular familiar for the housewives. Vietnam Facts and Figures, Part 2, Street Vendors, Reorganization or Shutdown. Around 1.2 million people migrate to Vietnam cities every year, official data shows, making up 20% of the country's urban population. Fast-paced urbanization is making it difficult for big cities to provide jobs for these people. For those who have never gone to college and have no expertise, it's nearly impossible to find a formal job. They have no choice other than selling their wares on the streets. On the one side, the city authorities have launched many campaigns called Return the Space to Pedestrian or Clean Up the Sidewalk. Obstacles such as vehicles, billboards, chairs and tables are moved or seized. Sunshades are cut. They also paint the lines on the sidewalks for pedestrians. On the other side, they try to reserve some areas for the street vendors put under the commune control. Experiences have shown that the first results are positive, but after some months, everything will come back as nothing has happened. Supporters of street vendors mention the size of the sidewalk economy, which represent from 11 to 13% of the overall GDP. According to the Vietnam's General Statistics Office, this economy has contributed about 11 million to the total 22 million gig workers. And saying of the sidewalk economy means life of urban poor residents. There are two kinds of street vendors in Vietnam, mobile and fixed groups. Fixed street vendors refer to the traders occupying a corner, near a utility pole or a tree, of the sidewalk by putting a table or some baskets to sell junk goods such as tea, sugar cane juice or some sweet potatoes. They rarely move to another street as they have their regular customers. The mobile groups are traders pushing a cart or riding a motorbike to sell fast food as sandwich, grilled corn or grilled chopped fish. They move all the time on the street and using a speaker to communicate to their customers. Some other people just walk on their feet and sell anything, lottery, shoes or bamboo sticks. Sometimes they make service such as polish shoes or massage. The street vendors compete with the shops by its cheap price, the convenience or sometimes the seasonal fruits or fresh vegetables, but the quality of good is a big question. It is no doubtful that the street vendor economy has created many jobs and reducing the rate of unemployment. The inhabitants living in the neighborhood have an easier access to daily necessities. It will not make people rich, but it is effective at turning unemployed people into self-employed workers while diversifying the local access to daily consumer goods. But on the other hand, the street vending has always the term of dirty, cheap, low quality. To sum up, it was a highly informal and gray economic sector where self-employed people, good intentioned or not, bypassed the regulations and were at the mercy of passers-by and police. A successful future of the street vendor economy depends on public and private collaboration. Vietnam Facts and Figures is a channel to introduce to foreigners and visitors the cultural particularities of Vietnam. If you find it interesting and useful, do not forget to press like, share and subscribe.